Hi, and welcome to Ivy League Analytical English. I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
Today is September 21st. We're on page 59 of the magazine, and the article today is the second half of a two-day article entitled The Original Witch Hunts.
好，我们今天这篇文章是昨天那篇文章的第二部分。我们的中文标题是洗不尽的污名，巫术的巫，中古猎巫狂潮。
So yesterday we just talked about how English has this term witch hunt, which according to the dictionary is an attempt to find and publicly punish a group of people on ideological or political grounds. Oh, it's about punishing a group of people who are perceived as a threat. So to those in power, they see that some people are a threat and they seek them out and they try to publicly expose them so everyone else goes, okay, I'm not going to do that thing because I don't want that to happen to me. It's one form of political persecution, to be honest. And the reason that witch hunt became this meaning is that originally witch hunts were about persecuting women politically and economically and socially to get them out of whatever power they had so that male society could go on merrily being in power. So the original witch hunt was about accusing women of witches so that they would then be executed for being bad, basically.
Yeah, 好，我们昨天谈到这个 witch hunt， 这个在欧洲风行的数百年的一个活动或者是一种行为那这个 witch hunt 基本上就是为了个私人的目的你在别人身上套上的一个罪名或者一个帽子然后在 literally 在当时中世纪的欧洲呢，就是说你是个巫婆你是个巫师，然后呢你就必须要被折磨、被处死等等的。那事实上 witch hunt 背后通常都是政治理由那有的时候宗教理由那像这个我们今天要讲这个美国的这个 witch hunt， 它有政治理由也有宗教理由，也就是教会它某一些教会的人他认为说如果大家都相信有 witch 的存在，而且有 witch hunt 如火如荼进行的话，大家就会对于教会的依赖会越来越强。因为这个人之常情嘛，当你觉得有巫师在的，有坏人，有这种巫婆存在的时候，你自然会 turn to churches turn to the church 希望这个教会能保护你。
I mean, a way a witch hunt is conducted is basically a social hysteria is created where then people are painted as the bad guys and then they're hunted out and put on trial for it. So so we're going to talk about a very specific and documented case that happened in the United States. But this happened at the end of the witch hunt trials. Like at this time, people were much less likely to be killed for being witches, and it was much more likely they were punished, which is not... It's not that people still weren't killed for being witches. It was popular at the time, for instance, if a woman was accused as a witch, they would throw her in a pond of water. And at the time, most people couldn't swim. So here's how they figured out if she was guilty of being a witch. If she survived and didn't drown, she was a witch. If she drowned, oh, poor girl, she was innocent. Either way, the witch lost her life. The so-called witch, lost her life.
这个就是现在我们听起来是很荒谬的事情，就是当时呢，他们决定你是不是 witch 的一种方法，就是把你丢到水里面去那你如果淹死了，那就不好意思证明你是人，不是 witch。那如果说你没淹死那你就是 witch， 那就还是要把你处死所以 either way 你是跑不掉的那所以当时的这种像其实社会上发生这种事情呢，其实多半都会产生一种都是来自于一种歇斯底里的心态那所以 witch hunt 常常也用来指那种被人煽动起来的风潮。因为刚刚 Angela 老师有提到，其实在美国这个1692年发生的这个 witch hunt， 那个其实当时已经大多数人已经慢慢不相信 witch 这种事情了所以就是有一些有心人利用这个一些事件呢，就炒起了这样的一个风潮那从中获得某些政治或者是宗教上面的权利或者一些利益所以它绝对是被人煽动起来的，而且蔚为风潮一时之间大家都在找谁是 witch 谁是 witch， 所以这个有一点像现在网络的肉搜这网络上面肉搜这个可能也许这个人也许他其实根本没做什么事情，可是就因为被拍到几个镜头，那大家说我们把他找出来，然后大家就开始骂他，骂到最后才发现不好意思骂错了，他其实不是这样。 Yeah.
But, too late.
Yeah.
Oh, they died. Oh, well.
Sorry. Yeah. Too bad.
It's really about a movement for grabbing political power because they're usually manipulated or at least used by those in authority to attain certain ends.
Yeah, 这个 witch hunt 真的通常都是有权势的人哈。那现在的话就主要是政治权势。那在当时的时候，主要是政治跟当时政跟教常常是在一起的所以要么就是教会，要么就是这个管统治者他们利用这样的 witch hunt 来巩固一些事情。
So let's talk about this specific witch hunt. Let's read the article. Towards the end of the 17th century, public attitudes towards witchcraft were changing in Europe with fewer and fewer witch trials being carried out. In contrast, in an area known as Salem, Massachusetts in the New World, the term given to North and South America during the time of great exploration centuries ago, fear of witches was reaching a fever pitch. Beginning in January of 1692, the 9 and 11-year-old daughters of the Reverend of Salem Village began having fits, screaming, breaking things, making strange sounds, and twisting their bodies into unnatural positions. A month later, the girls accused 3 women of being the cause of their ailments. The women accused of being witches included a slave from the Caribbean owned by the girl's family, a homeless beggar, and a poor old woman. The slave, named Tituba, confessed that the devil had asked her to serve him, and she and the other 2 accused women were thrown into jail. After that, numerous accusations of witchcraft were made against roughly 200 people in total. Witch trials were held by magistrates, and before the madness finally ceased in 1693, 20 people had been executed for being declared witches. With the exception of a farmer who was crushed to death by heavy stones placed on him, all those found guilty of witchcraft in Salem were hanged. Contrary to popular myths, none of the accused people were burnt at the stake. The colony of Massachusetts eventually realized that grave errors had been made in the trials that found 20 people guilty of witchcraft before sentencing them to death. In 1711, the rights and good names of all who had been accused were legally restored. There has been much analysis of the Salem witch trials, with some theories blaming a fungus that caused hallucinations and symptoms in the young girls who made the initial accusations. Sociologists, on the other hand, see witch hunts and trials as examples of people getting caught up in a form of mass hysteria. I imagine that these young girls got caught doing something naughty and then tried to save themselves by a lie and then were forced into continuing to perform, and the whole thing just went out of control.
Yeah, 所以说不定是这2个女生小女生呢，她们也许做了一些事情被抓到了，那为了要掩饰她们自己做的不该做的事情，她们就也许有一些反应或者是也许就说都是因为我受到这个女巫的这个迫害等等的，这个也是很有可能的。
Like and then you know how adults can sometimes blow things out of proportion.
Yeah.
And then yeah.
Yeah, 然后也许这个他小孩子撒谎撒得太逼真的话那这个大人就信了，然后这个另外一些大人就利用这样的一些谎话就开始把这事情炒大然后就慢慢一下子一发不可收拾。
And then everyone uses the situation to their advantage. There's so many times in history, in every country's history, where you can find an example of this.
Yeah, 那这个历史上常常见到这样子的一个例子
So, in our first paragraph, it says, towards the end of the 17th century, public attitudes towards witchcraft were changing in Europe. It was starting to slow down the fever, and there were fewer and fewer witch trials being carried out. People were finally sick of it after 300 years.
好，到17世纪末的时候呢这个 public attitudes 大众的态度对于这个 witchcraft 的态度呢开始改变了在欧洲已经开始改变了。然后呢，越来越少的这个 witch trials 这个女巫的审判呢 were being carried out 被这个实施所以越来越少见到这个所谓的 witch trials 在欧洲。
In contrast, in an area known as Salem, Massachusetts in the New World, now the New World was the term given to North and South America in Europe. Europeans gave this term to North and South America during the time of great exploration centuries ago, or we could say great expansion of the Europeans to the rest of the world. They called North and South America the New World, but Massachusetts is on the east coast of the United States. So in that area, which was colonized by a bunch of religious groups who were fleeing persecution in England. This is relevant. So they were persecuted in England. They came to Massachusetts to set up a colony where they could do their religion free of interference. But there, at this time, the fear of witches was reaching a fever pitch.
好，所以相对而言呢，在一个地区，好，这个 known as Salem， 好，就是这个地名叫 Salem。事实上 ，Salem 这个地方现在还在，啊，它在美国的这个麻州，它离 Boston 不远啊。各位如果以后去 Boston 玩的话，可以去 Salem 看一看，因为 Salem 那里有好多的这个女巫的博物馆。
Yeah, I mean, they kind of celebrate it now.
Yeah,
It's weird.
然后你进去呢，那个鬼屋啊什么的啊，那个博物馆一大堆的，其实还蛮好玩的哈。Salem 啊，那它是在 Boston 附近，所以那个时候的 Salem 哈，这个美国在17世纪的时候呢，基本上他们的移民最主要的力量还是 Puritans 啊，就是所谓的清教徒。那清教徒是非常相信善恶之间的分别的，清教徒自己绝对是善啊，他们是受上帝征召所选择的人。但是呢，这非清教徒呢，很容易就是被他们打成恶啊，所以他们非常相信善恶的区别啊。所以在这个 Salem 这个地方呢，在这个 New World 这个新世界，那新世界当初是怎么样？是用来指北美跟南美哈，在这个大航海时期啊，相对于 Old World 就是旧世界欧洲啊，那美洲是新世界啊。所以在美国的这个 Salem 这个地方呢。Fear of witches 对于这个巫师的恐惧呢 was reaching 到达了一个 fever pitch 在这里就是一个 level 啊 a level 或者 degree of intensity 好，所以英文例如我们可以说 a high pitch of excitement 就是非常非常的兴奋。那这个地方 fever 就是狂热啊，有的时候我们也可以讲 feverish pitch 也可以哈，那也是一样，就是狂热到了狂热的程度，所以当时对于这个巫师的恐惧呢到了狂热的程度。
Just imagine football fans when their team has just missed a very close goal and they just go crazy.
Yeah.
That's a fever pitch.
对，大家可以想象，例如说这个足球迷哈，他们的队刚刚本来可以得分的，结果没有得到啊，那个时候就是他们的那个情绪就高涨到一个 fever pitch 那种感觉。
So in Salem, back in the January of 1692, what happened to start it was the 9 and 11-year-old daughters of the Reverend of Salem Village. So their dad was the priest. Their dad was the main religious figure. They began having fits. If you have a fit, it's like an epileptic fit is when you drop to the floor and you writhe about.
Yep.
They were doing stuff like that. They were screaming, breaking things, making strange sounds, and twisting their bodies into unnatural positions.
好，所以呢，开始是在1692年的1月哈，有两位小女孩，一个9岁，一个11岁啊。他们是谁的小孩呢？是 Reverend 这个字呢，基本上就是指神职人员啊。那但是呢，它也可以指 minister， 也是种神职人员啊，就是牧师啊。所以是 Salem 这个地方牧师的2个小孩啊，开始怎么样？有这个 fits 啊 ，fits 在这里这指跟癫痫有关哈。这刚刚这个 Angel 老师有提到这个字哈 ，epilepsy 这是它的名词哈 ，EPILEPSY 哈 ，EPILEPSY 就癫痫。所以它这个 fits 其实就是像癫痫症一样，它会有 seizure 哈，或者是有 convulsion 好，它就有抽搐啊，这样的一阵一阵的哈。所以他2个小孩有了这个状况，而且会 screaming 啊，会尖叫，然后呢 breaking things 他们会打破东西，然后呢 making strange sounds 他们会发出一些奇怪的声音，然后呢 twisting their bodies 他们会扭曲他们的身体，好。扭成怎么样 unnatural positions 好，它姿势非常的不自然好，所以这感觉起来就像中邪的那种感觉。
A month later, the girls accused 3 women of being the cause of their ailments. One can only imagine the sort of emotional process of that month.
Yeah.
Because at that time, it was very common when somebody did something weird for an average person to be like, oh, the devil got into them.
Yeah.
And somehow this got taken literally over the course of this month. You know what? It sounds like they were just having a temper tantrum, like small children do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, so it got blown up into being witchcraft, and so then they eventually had to accuse somebody, and so they accused 3 women of being the cause of their ailments, of their illness.
好，所以呢，这个就像 Angel 老师刚刚讲的，这2个小孩说不定只是有什么呀，只是一个 temper tantrum 啊。那这个就是发一阵脾气哈，那个 temper 就是 TEMPER 哈，那 tantrum 就是 TANTRUM， 那所以说不定只是发脾气而已。可是呢，他 这两个小女孩也许这个突发奇想啊，也许是她的父亲啊，这给她某种暗示啊，所以总之呢，这两个小女孩呢，她们就控诉三个女人啊 of being the cause of their ailments 啊，说这三个女人呢造成了这三个女人就是她们这个不舒服的原因。ailments 这个字啊，基本上其实通常是指这个可能是种 physical 或者这个 mental disorder 啊，但是通常是 mild 这个 illness 不是很重的病呀，它不是很大的病啊，所以它 ailment 就让他们觉得不舒服啦啊，所以他们会觉得他们的不舒服，例如他们会尖叫啊，会一阵一阵抽搐啊，这不是很严重的事情，可他们说啊，这个原因就是那三个女的。
And the women accused of being witches included a slave from the Caribbean owned by the girl's family, a homeless beggar, and a poor old woman. Notice none of these women have anybody that could back them up or vouch for them.
Yeah.
And so it was the easiest people to accuse.
Yeah.
Also, they're disruptive people in the society by being marginal.
Yeah. 好，所以这个被控告是这个 witches 的三位女士呢，包括谁呢？一个是 slave 啊，一个奴隶，是从加勒比海来的奴隶。那加勒比海其实很多人都会联想到巫术啊，那地方有很多的 witches 啊，这个所以呢，这个很自然的联想啊。然后呢，这个 slave 是这两个小女生她们家里面的 slave 啊，她们所拥有的 slave。那另外一个是没有无家可归的一个乞丐，也是女的。另外一个呢是一个很老很贫穷的妇女。那刚刚 Angela 老师提到这里很重要一点，就是这三个女性呢都没有支援系统啊，都不会有人替他们站出来说话啊，所以很容易就成为 easy targets.
Basically. And the slave named Tituba, she confessed that the devil had asked her to serve him. I bet she felt like she had no choice.
Yeah.
So once she confessed, they were like, aha, now we've got them. And so she and the other two accused women were thrown into jail.
啊，那这一位这个奴隶呢，名字叫做这 Tituba 啊，他呢 confessed 就他承认，他说呢，魔鬼 had asked her， 魔鬼要求他去服侍 him， 这个 him 就是指魔鬼。然后他跟另外两个女性呢，这另外两个被控告的女性 accused women 啊，就被控告的女性呢，她们都被 thrown into jail， 这个类似我们中文讲锒铛入狱啊，就抓起来就关了。那这 Tituba 为什么会这个坦诚呢？这个也有很多人提出不同的论点啊，但是我觉得其实很可能，因为他没有人可以依靠，没有人会替他讲话啊，他可能觉得说，哎，我就承认就算了，可能还少受一点苦，少受一点罪。
Now imagine this is a society that they just farm. They have nothing, no entertainment, and they're Puritans. They don't even have singing or anything in church. Their lives are super, super, super dull.
Yeah.
Suddenly this very exciting thing happens and everyone is just thrown into hysteria.
Yeah.
And so, bam. After that, numerous accusations of witchcraft were made against roughly 200 people in total. I imagine that all the grievances that people had just came out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a general social like exorcism kind of.
Yeah, 所以那个之后呢 numerous, very many, 很多的 accusations, 很多的控告啊，这个控告别人是这个 witchcraft 是 witch 啊，这很多很多的控告呢 were made， 这个 made 的受词就是 accusations 啊，所以很多人 made accusations of witchcraft 啊，那 against 啊控告对象大概差不多有200个人，总共大概有200个人啊，而且那个时候这个一般来讲呢，你如果被别人控告你是 witch， 你要负责证明你不是啊，控告的人不必证明你是啊，我可以说 I suspect某某某 is a witch 啊，那被控告那个人呢，他就出来啊，他必须要 prove that I am not.
Yeah.
那这个也是很
How do you prove you're not a witch?
这也是很荒谬的。
Except by drowning.
Yeah, 控告的人，我说你是啊，那我不用提出证明，我觉得你是啊，因为你那天说了一些话，我觉得很奇怪。
I itched suddenly on Saturday night, and there's no reason for that
after I spoke with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 我是跟你讲话，上个礼拜六我跟他讲过话之后呢，我身体就痒痒的，我怀疑他是 witch.
Right.
所以呢，后来就变成一个非常就像 hysterical 歇斯底里的哈，这个互相铲除异己的一个事情。
So witch trials were held by magistrates, and they were spellbinding to the community because you could just go in and watch this amazing drama unfolding before you. And the girls were made to perform almost every day.
Yeah.
Like they were literally performing. And before the madness finally ceased in 1693, 20 people had been executed for being declared witches. Now, that doesn't seem like a large number, but this is a really small community.
Yeah.
Imagine like everybody you know, somebody's been killed or accused. How
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah. 当时人口不多哈，所以虽然说是20个人被处死了，但是其实数量也很高，而且有200个人被控告了啊。那所以他说这个 witch trials 他们就是女巫的审判，巫师的审判案呢是由这个 magistrates 所这个举行。这个 magistrate 这个有可能在当时他可能就是个 civil officer， 但是 charged with the administration of the law， 所以他可能本来他只是这个地方的行政长官，但是被赋予这个判决的这个责任，或者是他可能是个这个地方法庭的 judge 所以总之就是这些地方上有头有脸的这个法律方面或者行政方面的首长来判决。然后呢，在这个 madness 在1693年这个疯狂终于 cease 终于停止之前呢，有20个人被处死因为他们被宣布他们是 witch。那另外一个 source 是说有这个25个人这个被处死所以这个不同的 source 有不同的这个数字。
And with the exception of this one farmer who was crushed to death by heavy stones placed on him, which is a kind of a common European punishment, actually. But he was the one exception, and all the rest of those found guilty of witchcraft in Salem were hanged, which is the American way. American history is like hanging was your most popular form of execution.
Yeah. 所以除了有一位农夫他被这个 crushed to death 他是被压死的，用石头压死的。那其他的这些这个被控为巫师的人呢，他们都是被吊死的。
Now, contrary to popular myths, none of the accused people were burned at the stake. Burning witches at the stake was a European thing. Hanging witches was an American thing.
所以这个跟一般人所想象的这个一般人的说法传说 myth 就在这里是传说所以 contrary to 跟一般的传说相反的是，这些被控告的人呢没有人是死在火刑柱上stake 就是火刑柱。那用火刑柱烧死，这个是欧洲的这个处罚，在美国当时主要是用吊死。
Now, the colony of Massachusetts eventually, after time had passed, the colony realized that grave errors had been made in the trial, that basically all of these trials had been super illegal. And these trials that found 20 people guilty of witchcraft before sentencing them to death. They're like, oops, we kind of illegally killed these 20 people. Uh-oh.
Yeah. 所以这个马萨诸塞州的这个殖民地呢他们最后终于了解到说 grave errors, serious errors had been made 他们犯下了严重的错误在这些 trials 里面，而且这些 trials 他们让他们判决有20个人是有罪的，然后呢把他们处死sentence them to death 就是处死的意思。
So in 1711, 30 years after the trials, finally, the rights and good names of all who had been accused were legally restored. Now, this is more of a property transfer thing than anything else. I mean, 30 years later, like, oh yeah, she really wasn't a witch. Sorry.
所以1711年的时候呢，这些被处死的人的他们的权利还有他们的这个名声 good names 终于被 legally 法律恢复了他们的名声跟权利 restored 恢复了。
But I'm sure it was comforting to the families.
Yeah, 当然
like finally justice has been served.
Yeah.
There has been much analysis of the Salem witch trials, partly because there's so much paperwork that was visible from it. Like, there's a lot of paper trail to these trials, so you can read a lot about from original documents. And so there's some theories that were blaming a fungus that caused hallucinations and symptoms in the young girls. They're like, oh, they accidentally poisoned themselves with the mushrooms.
好，那有很多关于这个 Salem witch trials 的一些分析那有一些理论 theories 有些说法呢，他们 blame 他们这怪或者是找出这个元凶其实是 fungus 是一种真菌，它会造成 hallucinations 幻觉还有 symptoms 还有就是这两位小女生她们的幻觉，然后造成她们的发生的一些症状，那些 fits。 那所以觉得他们找到了这个科学的原因了。
Also, it kind of makes the girls blameless, like, oh, they weren't part of it really.
Yeah.
But sociologists, on the other hand, see witch hunts and trials as an example of people getting caught up in a form of mass hysteria. And I also see it as a chance that people take the opportunity to settle emotional issues that they have.
所以这个社会学家呢，他们认为这些这个巫师的审判呢是一些例子，这个告诉我们人们这什么例子呢？就是人们 caught up in 可以说是陷入的意思，陷入了这个 集体的歇斯底里的情况之下，他们所做出来一些事情啊。那当然，这个还有各种不同的这个说法，也可能是也许这些人他们是找到了一些这个情绪的出口啦，或者是就像我们刚刚一直在强调，它背后可能真正的原因是一些政治或者宗教的一些权力斗争。
We have some questions here for you. Number 1 is, what is the first paragraph of the article mainly about?
本文第一段的主旨是什么？
And that is C, the modern-day meaning of witch hunt.
猎巫一词在现代的意义。
Number 2, what did Britain's Witchcraft Act of 1735 not do? What's one of the things it wasn't about doing?
好，英国1735年的巫术法没有做什么呢？
And it did not, A, make it legal to be a witch. It just basically told people, stop accusing people of being witches, okay, it's enough.
Yeah, 答案是 A 啊，它使巫师合法，它并没有使巫师合法，所以这个是正确答案。因为他问我们他没有做什么，所以答案 A 使巫师成为合法，他们并没有做这件事情，所以这是正确答案。
Number 3, according to the reading, what happened near the end of the 1600s?
根据本文啊，这个17世纪末的时候发生什么事呢？
The answer is D, the Salem witch trials occurred. They happened.
啊，就是这个 Salem 的 witch trial 发生了。
And number 4, how many people were hanged in the Salem witch trials?
所以根据本文哈，这个在这个 witch trials 里面有多少人被绞死呢？
The answer is B, 19, because one of those persons was put to death, yes, but they were not hanged. So it's a kind of a trick question.
Yeah, 好，那答案是19个人啊，因为有20个人被处死，然后呢，其中有一个是被石头压死的啊，所以被吊死的是19个人。
Okay, well, thank you for joining us. That was not an easy topic to discuss. There's a lot of big words, but you got through it. So we'll see you again next time for more Ivy League Analytical English. Until then, bye-bye.